Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and I'm the owner, creator, and coach for Believe in Better Finances. So I wanted to make a quick video today on the topic of side hustles, and side hustles that I'm specifically talking about that you can get into with little to no money, very limited experience honestly, and you can be your own boss. If you're looking for something in addition to your full-time job, where maybe you don't want to go to, like, say, a clothing store where you have to work a set schedule and have a manager that you have to, report to. I wanted to be able to do something where I dictate how much or how little I choose to work and what days I want to work. And, I determine my pricing and things like that. So I'm kind of controlling what I'm making and how much time I'm investing into my side hustles. So I will have to say that there's nothing more that I admire about a person who is willing to do what it takes to hit their financial goals. And so if these are some ideas that'll help you to bring in extra income, if you're not making as much money as you want to with your full-time job, consider switching jobs. The economy's up right now, so you might be able to get a better job that's higher paying, that pays you your worth. Or if you're, content with where you're at and you don't want to switch that job up for whatever reason, these are some things that you can do in addition to make extra income and make use of your time and services. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. If you see me look away, I have my little cheat sheet down here. So the first one is actually going to be babysitting. Now for me, this is not something I would want to do. I don't have children of my own, and it's been a while since I've been around any young children, period, and spent a lot of time where I've cared for them. So I would not trust for me to provide a valuable service to care for somebody's kiddos. Now if they're older and they're pretty self-sufficient and they just want me to hang out and color with them, totally fine. But for me personally, babysitting is not my thing. But for those of you watching, you may love kids and have lots of experience with babies, toddlers, and young children, that absolutely go for that. I know in my community, we have a pretty nice neighborhood, and a lot of people that live here, both mom and dad or whoever works full-time. And so anytime they want to go out on a date, or maybe they're having to work late, I see a lot of times on our community Facebook page, people are going, hey, does anybody have a sitter that they recommend, or any of the sitters that are in the community available tonight to babysit? So get some business cards, get some good word of mouth, and just spread the word that, hey, you're willing to do that in the evenings or on the weekends or whenever you're available. My second thing is going to be pet sitting. So I just mentioned that I do that on the side. If you are more of an animal person like I am, that can be something you can start with relatively little experience. All experience I had was, I had 3 dogs of my own, I had a lab growing up, and I have a love for just critters in general. So if you love animals, that can be something you can start. I set up my business Facebook page, so I don't have a website, and I have business cards. And I started literally with 2 postcard mailers to the nicest subdivisions in our city. So our city's not that big, but one of the subdivision I live in is pretty nice, and then there's one across town that is also a pretty nice, pricey neighborhood. So I figured those people would probably be able to afford to pay for my service. So that being said, again, start something relatively low cost, and it can be a service that you can really help people out when they're traveling for business or on vacation. Or like the other night, I went and pet sit for one time because the couple that I was pet sitting for, they were driving up to Choctaw to go to a concert that night, and they were going to be back, in the earlier morning hours. So they just needed me to kind of come over and give their pet some attention, make sure they ate and went potty. So that can be an idea, is starting a pet sitting business. Now, another one would be, number 3, would be pizza delivery. So this might be one where you may or may not be able to dictate your schedule depending on what they're needing as a delivery person. But what's nice about it is it's a relatively low stress job. I mean, you're just grabbing pizzas and you're delivering them. So a lot of time you're spending time in your car. You can listen to music, listen to ebooks and things like that. So I've never personally delivered pizzas, but I worked at CC's in my teenage years, and it was one of the most funnest jobs I ever had. And it taught me a lot about food service and just general customer service and handling money and things like that. And so I figured that could be something that a lot of people could do, relatively low cost. For the most part, you don't have to interact with a lot of people because the majority of your time you're in your car driving pizzas around. So that might be something to consider as well. Number 4 is going to be maybe lessons or tutoring. So if you are, I think of like musicians, if you can play the guitar or the piano or anything like that where you can teach lessons to adults or young children, why not do so? I mean, that's something that I see a lot of where people are like, I want to sign my kid up for drum lessons, or My daughter wants to take dance or something. If you have some kind of skill or service that you could offer, why not make money on that? Because people will value your time and your service by teaching them a skill. Same thing for tutoring. If you're good at math, science, English, any things like that, or just in general, busy parents that need somebody to come to their house and tutor their kids on their homework, making sure they get through homework problems and things like that, you can make money doing that kind of stuff, and people will pay you to do that. So any kind of lessons, any kind of tutoring that you feel like, hey, I've got a skill set in this particular area, make it known to the world and start making money doing that. Number 5 is going to be, again, can be summer or winter, fall. It's going to be lawn work. So I know, again, for my neighborhood, in a lot of the neighborhoods, whether it's high end or low end or somewhere in between, a lot of times people don't have the time, desire to mow their yards. They're more happy to pay $30 to somebody to come take care of it for them. So if you've got a lawnmower, a weed eater, and a blower, that's really all you need to get started. And some cheap business cards, and just pass them out. I know a couple of the guys in our neighborhood that mow the yards in our area. They basically hit up the homes in a small section. So there's one guy, he'll come mow 8 yards on Fridays, and I think that's what he does full time. But again, you can do this part-time, where you'll go, hey, let me see if I can get 2, 3, 4 houses, and I'll spend my Saturday mornings getting out there mowing yards and getting people's houses looking good, and I make me some extra money on weekends. So that might be something. If it's not summertime where you're needing to mow yards, maybe it's raking leaves in the fall/winter. So again, lots of things you can do to help people's houses stay looking good and provide a service. Number 6 is going to be handyman. So guys and gals out there, if you are handy with doing things around the house, think of ladies that have their honey-do lists, or guys that have lists that they just don't have the time or the know-how to take care of it. It could be something as simple as hanging up a curtain rod, installing a new ceiling fan for somebody, to doing a little painting on an accent wall or something like that, caulking around the house. Just anything that you offer, make a list of it and pass out some business cards. And I'll tell you, a lot of people will pay you to come get those curtain rods hung up so the lady in the house can get her curtains put up on the wall. So think about things like that. If you have any kind of handy type, or even mechanically inclined, if you're good at working on cars, stuff like that, maybe consider starting a business of that nature. Number 7, this could be actually one business overall, or could be broken up into 2 different types of side jobs. So that's going to be house cleaners. Again, think of services that people don't have time or desire to do that'll pay you money to do it for them. So having somebody where you come in and clean their house every week or every 2 weeks or once a month could be something you could do. And in addition to that, maybe you include laundry services, or you make that its own separate job. I actually haven't seen a lot of people do a lot of laundry service, but for those people that don't want to have everything dry cleaned, but they just need like their towels washed and their bedding washed and their rugs washed and their clothes, that could be something where maybe they bring things to you to your own home and you wash it and they pick it up whenever they get back off from work, or you go to their house and you just spend your time there getting things done, and in between then you could be working on other things. Or reading a book or something like that. So that might be something you think about, is house cleaning or laundry services. Number 8 is going to be seasonal work. So again, based on the seasons and the time of year, maybe it's holiday work that you take on. Right now spring's coming up, so I know places like Lowe's and Home Depot are looking for part-time help to assist in their garden section, because they've got an influx of customers with the spring. So those could be things that you could do as well. I know right now, especially in the DFW area, we are seeing an increase in new construction. So a lot of these construction companies are probably looking for extra sets of hands to help build houses and do all that kind of stuff. So if you are very skilled, or just wanting to learn a skill or a trade, you might look into something like that as well. Number 9 is going to be a mobile car detail business. So again, something that I haven't seen as much in the years past, but it's becoming a lot more common. And again, is another service that you can set up and run yourself as your own business owner and worker. So if you're good at detailed and good at cleaning things, and you have an appreciation for cars or not, but if you have a skill set, a lot of people will have you come to their house and clean and detail their car for them. And a lot of times that doesn't require a lot of money. You might even could require them to provide the products that they want used on their vehicle, and you just provide the labor. So those are some things you might think about as starting some kind of mobile car detail service. And then the last one, still kind of pertaining to vehicles, and may or may not be for everybody, is Uber. So become an Uber driver. If you are in a major metropolitan area and you've got a reliable mode of transportation, why not use your downtime to make extra money by becoming an Uber driver? Obviously, there's safety and things that you want to keep in mind. So maybe, women may want to do it, but I know it's mostly kind of a male-driven service. So, but again, if you want to, I know there's a couple guys that are friends of my husband's that on Saturday mornings or certain like Friday nights, they'll drive Uber. Some people, they're like, I just pretty much stick to the airport area because I live near there, and they're just driving people to and from the airport. So it's not really that big of a deal. They're not getting the crazy party people that are puking in their cars or anything crazy like that. So those are just some ideas that I had. Again, kind of my top 10. There's so much more. I mean, the sky's the limit. And the thing about any kind of side hustle, especially if you're the owner and operator of your business, the thing that I would have to say that's the most important is making sure you're priced competitively. You need to understand what other competitors are in your marketplace. Make sure you're priced that it's worth your time, but you're not so overpriced that people won't use your service. And then I think the most important thing is your reputation. So if you're going to start a business, you need to make sure that you have very high standards for your business and that you get good service feedback, because if people aren't happy, when they're not happy, they're more likely to spread negative news rather than positive news. So I'll give you a tip on something that I do with my pet sitting business. So like I said, I have my Facebook page. I don't have a website, but what I've done is after every pet sitting service, I like to have feedback on how their experience was. When they came back home, did they feel like their animal was happy? Was their house still put together and okay? I've delivered their mail and all that kind of stuff, put it in their house secure for them. So if they're happy with it, I always send a follow-up email after every appointment and just say, thank you for letting me pet sit Fluffy. And by the way, if you were happy with your services, I would greatly appreciate if you took just a few seconds to, leave a review on my Facebook page. So they can either leave a review on my Facebook page, on Yelp, on Google, or they can send me an email, and I can use that in other ways as well. So I give them kind of a choice of where they can leave the feedback. Some of them will leave it on all 3 options. Some will just go to my Facebook page because that's how they found me. And I always put in there, if for some reason my service was not 5-star quality, please let me know, because I want to be the best pet care provider for our city. So I always give them that option to please know that you can communicate with me, because I want to make sure you're 100% satisfied. There are sometimes that things that aren't going to work out perfectly, like maybe they only want me to come 3 times that day and their animal had an accident during one of the times and they chose not to have me come check on them 4 times that day. So there's things like that I've had happen. But again, having that open communication and discussing it and asking for those positive reviews, I've had more people book pet sitting jobs with me because they say that I have a Facebook page that has consistent updates showing all these animals that I'm caring for, and the reviews. I have numerous reviews out there that are all positive 5-star reviews. And I make sure to follow up. If they call me, I try to call them back as quickly as possible. I try to answer all their questions, be very upfront, be very clear about my expectations for them as well for me. And so just stuff like that. It's just about running a very good, successful, honest, reputable business. And a lot of times if you just do that and you have some business cards and, like I said, a free Facebook page, that's all you need to get started. And from there, once word of mouth starts to spread, your business is going to grow and you're going to start making money. And at that point, as an entrepreneur and a business owner, you can determine how busy you want to be and how much money you want to make. So I know for me, it's a lot of work doing videos for YouTube, as well as my real estate, my pet sitting, my credit union job, and just being a wife and running a household. But one thing I can never say is I'm never bored, and I'm making money in the process, and I'm providing a service for people that people really value. So it makes me feel like I have a lot of worth and a lot of things I can contribute to my community. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up as always, and be sure and subscribe for future videos on all things money. I'll see you next time.